The AmaZulu royals are meeting today to discuss a successor to King Goodwill Zwelithini, Zulu. The next monarch will be chosen by the current regent, Queen Ndlamini. Now, it's expected the announcement will be made in the next few days. President Cyril Ramaphosa and Traditional Affairs Minister Ndlamini are set to visit the palace to discuss authorization of the next AmaZulu monarch. Now, following this story for us is senior reporter Siphamandla Goke. A very good morning to you, Siphamandla. Perhaps let's start there for those that may not understand. The President and the Minister of Cocta are going to, of course, discuss the authorization of the AmaZulu monarch. What does that mean?
It's not going to happen today, I can tell you that much. Today's meeting is mainly for Zulu royal family members. They are going to discuss the will of the departed monarch, King Zwelithini Goodwill Zulu. After they have agreed on a candidate, then they will have to inform government. Now, that's where the ministry and the Department of Cocta comes into play, because they will need to lead a process of that authorization, and then at some point or towards the end of the process, President Cyril Ramaphosa will have to then issue out that certificate of recognition, and that's when things will move. Then we expect that once the new king has been coronated, or before the coronation, that certificate will need to be issued out by government. So President Cyril Ramaphosa and Minister Dr. Zuma are not going to attend today's meeting, but it's expected that after today's meeting, the family will have to inform the government that they've decided on this, and then government's processes will have to kick in. So for today, it's only members of the Zulu royal family meeting, and that meeting has not started for now. I can tell you that they were waiting for someone who's going to read the king's estate, and I can tell you that I've spotted that person going inside the Waketo Mtandayo Royal Palace. That is Jerome Ngwenya. Many of our viewers will know the name of Jerome Ngwenya as one of the confidants for the departed monarch. He is also the chairperson of Ingonyama Trust Board. So we understand that he is the one who is going to unpack the estate of the departed monarch. Remember, on Saturday the will was read. So we understand that according to the will, which was finalized by the king in 2016, then the throne and the kingdom is left to the Queen of Wakangela Mankengane Royal Palace, that is Queen Mantfombi, who is the third wife and also regarded as the great wife. Now, that's when the issue of speculation comes into play, because she has a firstborn son, which is Prince Misuzulu. It's understood that she is likely going to nominate him to take over the throne, but for now she serves as the regent for the Zulu kingdom. So after the meeting here, we expect that there would be some clarity, because our sources from the royal palace have been telling us that at least one thing that the family agrees on is that there needs to be speed in resolving and discussing the issue of succession here, so that there is no vacuum for now, as we understand that Queen Mantfombi is just acting for now as the regent, because the will leaves the kingdom to her. But the will of the king also makes mention of other queens, that they will inherit whatever is left in their respective palaces.
Siphamandla, when does it become a discussion, if at all it becomes a discussion, a nomination, as you mentioned that the Queen Mantfombi is going to, of course, nominate her firstborn son, but when does the nomination process take place? Is it taking place in this particular discussion of the will?
We understand that today they will discuss the will. After that, the issue of the succession will come up, and they will discuss when and how to make that nomination process. But remember here, Queen Mantfombi is now in charge for now. So she is the one who will have to provide leadership and guidance to say, okay, based on the will, now I'm the regent, but this is what is going to happen moving forward. Now, all members of the royal family will have to put forward their views, but we expect that it may be inside this meeting that is going to start shortly, or it may be immediately after the issue of the will has been discussed. Remember here, there are also legal representatives of the departed monarch, and there are also outsiders like advisors, including Jerome Ngwenya, who is not a member of the royal family, but who was very close to the departed monarch. So once he has presented everything, once he has outlined all the king's estate and what is going to happen moving forward, we expect that outsiders, quote unquote, will have to vacate or leave the meeting. Then members of the Zulu royal family will then meet as a family and decide to say, okay, now that everything has been unpacked, how do we move forward? When and how do we nominate a successor? And that's where we expect that discussion will take place. And later on, depending on how the meeting turns out, we expect that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who is the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation, will then have to communicate to the nation the final decision of the royal house, the royal family members having met and discussed the issue. We expect that all of that should at least happen today, but it's all dependent on how the meeting progresses inside.
The involvement of the traditional prime minister, the Chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi, is it also in the decision of who gets nominated, or does his responsibility just rest with the discussion of the will with the advisors and Ucherom Ngwenya?
Because he is the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation and a member of the royal family, by the way, so he is also expected to be part of the meeting, and after the meeting, during the meeting as an elder and also as the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation, we expect that he will have certain views, but those views and the discussion will be guided by what the will says. So all the discussions and all members of the royal family will have their views, bearing in mind that there is a will which leaves the kingdom and the throne to Queen Mantfombi. Now, Queen Mantfombi is regarded as the great wife. She is the third queen of the departed monarch, and then she's of royal blood from the kingdom of Eswatini. She is King Mswati, the third sister. She is the daughter and the princess of the late King Sobhuza of Swaziland, having married the departed monarch of AmaZulu. So many people, historians, cultural experts, say it was designed that she is the one who was going to produce an heir to the throne. Hence, the will leaves the throne with her. So we expect that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation, will have an opinion during the discussion. But at the end of the day, a person who's going to provide leadership and guidance is Queen Mantfombi, because the throne and the kingdom has been left with her.
That's our senior reporter, Usiphamandla Goke, who is out Kwanongoma. Now, still to come.